And for more, let's go to Strasbourg. Inmaculada Rodríguez-Piñero is member of the European Parliament for the Socialist Party. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I really like very much your program, and I had the opportunity to watch it the last month when I was in Annecy, and I want to congratulate you for the program you have.
Oh, well, we appreciate it very much. The fourth time in 4 years that Spaniards are going to the polls. The last 2 times, your party fared better and better. Could this be one time too many? Are people sick of voting?
Yeah, this is true. We have had a lot of problems because we didn't achieve an enough majority, and the other political parties didn't have the possibility to build a strong majority. In fact, the citizens have voted in last April, and they really showed that they are a majority support for the Socialist Party. But the problem is that what is happening in other democratic countries in the European Union is possible in Spain have not been possible because the right parties didn't want to have a strong government and a government be able to build all the reforms we have to do, and the left party Podemos doesn't want to have a government under the presidency of a socialist president, as Pedro Sanchez is. This is the second time, no, the third time.
But actually, that's not exactly what Podemos. That's not what Podemos
is. President.
That's not what Podemos is saying. Their leader, Pablo Iglesias, simply says that we're okay with the coalition as long as you give us cabinet portfolios.
Well, but in July, the functioning president Pedro Sanchez offered to Pablo Iglesias a coalition government where there was a vice president and 3 social ministers, very important ministers with a lot of competence that really work for the way of living of people, and they said no. Then this is a real problem with Podemos. And what other left political parties have done in Portugal, in Denmark, in Switzerland, have been possible to build a socialist party. With Podemos in Spain is not possible because Pablo Iglesias doesn't want. That's the real problem we have. And I hope next time citizens give us a big support in order to have a progressive government under the chair of the President Pedro Sanchez.
Before we go back to the politicking that will ensue inevitably after that November 10th snap poll, let me ask you, Inmaculada Rodríguez-Piñero, you have this new political landscape now in Spain because you have the emergence of the centrist Ciudadanos party, of the far-left Podemos party, parties that weren't even on the, and now even the far right, you can add into that mix, Vox. These new parties emerging just in the last few years. Why is Spain more fragmented?
Well, in fact, we have now more political parties that they are represented in the national parliament. The problem is that all the promises, the new emerging political parties promise people have not been achieved because they are saying one thing and they are doing other things, because democracy is to allow to have the possibility to build laws in order to improve the better lives of people. And under Ciudadanos, Citizens Political Party, has not been possible, and they are changing every day of what they are thinking and what they are want. In fact, they don't have a political country for the future, and then they are acting each time depending on what are the best position for them in terms of votes. And this is not possible. This is not a political party. This is a theatrical party. And then this is very difficult. And also, in fact, because Ciudadanos, citizens, thought that they came to politics to improve democracy. But they are governing in some regions in Spain with the extreme right political party, that they are not democratic and they are not European parties and they are not acting in terms of improve.
So
better
what
lives
is
of
certain?
people.
What is
Then
certain
the
after
problem is
the?
that
What is certain after the November 10th poll is that there's practically zero chance that the socialists will have an outright majority. So what makes a better fit in your personal view? Is it better to turn towards the center right, or is it better to turn towards the far left?
Well, I think that what is important is not to say in which sense, but it's possible to support the program we defend. Spain needs to make reforms, and to make reforms in order to improve democracy, to improve the economy, and under everything to improve better lives of people. Then, if political parties want to support the program we have, that it was possible to achieve an agreement in the programs with citizens 2 years ago and with Podemos some months ago. Now they have the possibility to really support the political we really need in Spain that they have supported under the Socialist Party. There is no real difference in between the program of Podemos and some of the programs of citizens, but what they really want to accept is that citizens want Pedro Sanchez president of the government. They don't want Pablo Iglesias, they don't want Albert Rivera, they don't want Pablo Casado. And this is something that emerging countries needs to learn, and maybe after the next elections they will really learn the lessons and citizens will give a clear voice in terms of a majority in our country.
And again, Inma Rodríguez-Piñero, that question of whether or not a fourth election in 4 years will prove too much for Pedro Sanchez. I'm reading reports of people in Spain saying that they don't feel like going to the polls yet again.
Well, I think that I can understand people, well, because we have held 4 elections in the last 5 months, but in democracy, people have to have the voice. And then I'm sure that the responsibility of citizens, Spanish people are really very responsible. They will go to vote and they will see how different are the policies under a progressive government or under a right government. And this is something they have had the possibility to check during the time that Pedro Sanchez has been the president of the government in Spain. Then I think that what polls are not going to measure is in the same day when people have to give their vote in the box, what they are going to do. And I'm totally sure that we'll compare.
We'll compare the two.
Now it's too early to say, for sure.
But
what
Inma Rodríguez-Piñero, unfortunately, we're out of time. So, but I want to thank you so much for joining us from Strasbourg.